The living dead are defined as reanimated corpses that have been turned into creatures capable of movement but not of rational thought. Zombies are defined as willless and speechless humans that have died but have been supernaturally reanimated. And the undead, they are qualified as technically dead but still animate. Whatever you have heard about this subject has probably all been considered folklore until now, but here are a few examples of people who were pronounced dead and came back to life. Let us know which definition, if any, fits these given scenarios. Brighton Dama Xainthi. When we say the word funeral, one of the first things that come to mind is a sad scene in which family and friends say their farewell. Not a scene of chaos where a bunch of people are running for their lives because the dead has risen. But that's exactly what happened when Brighton, a 34-year-old Zimbabwean man, started twitching as people filed past his dead body. His boss was the first attendee to notice this. Thankfully, he took the blankets covering Mr. Xainthi off and called the ambulance straight away. A witness said it was only then that people finally realized that Brighton was still alive. The onlooker also called the incident a miracle that left the other observers in disbelief. The ambulance arrived in 7 minutes and transferred Mr. Xainthi to the Gwaru Provincial Hospital, and he would return home after spending just 2 days in intensive care. He would eventually talk about the incident, saying that he couldn't recall what had happened, but the only thing he remembered was being on life support. He called the oddity a second chance at life and assured everyone that was curious that he was completely fine. Fagalamu Kamintsianov. All humans make mistakes, but the mistake that the specialist had made by declaring 51-year-old Fagalamu Kamintsianov dead was literally lethal, causing her to die this time for good after having a heart attack from intense panic and shock. She was first declared dead after she collapsed at her home from chest pains, but during her funeral, as relatives were mourning her loss, she woke up screaming in horror when she realized that she was about to be buried alive. She was rushed back to the hospital only to take her last breaths, spending just 12 minutes in the intensive care unit. There are no words to describe just how extremely furious and devastated her husband was, who demanded answers after the tragic loss of his wife. He stated that her life could have been spared, since it appears that she wasn't dead when they said she was. Hardy Liudmila Blitzklia. As if being back from the dead once isn't bizarre enough, Hardy Liudmila Blitzklia is a 61-year-old Russian woman who has come back to life twice. It all started when Hardy was taken to the Tomsk Regional Hospital, where she spent a few days because she felt under the weather. Her daughter Anastasia got quite the bombshell when she called the doctors to check on her mom and was informed that she had died. The devastated daughter sought refuge from losing her mom by preparing her commemoration. But when she went to the morgue just 3 days later to pick up her mother's body, she had already risen. It turns out that Hardy had come back to life after being trapped in the morgue's refrigerator for 3 whole days. Call it perfect timing because she was about to undergo autopsy surgery. The shocked Anastasia was taken to a room where her mother was lying on a bed, alert, breathing, and smiling. The shock affected both Anastasia and the doctors, who couldn't provide a reasonable explanation for what had just happened. A few months later, Liudmila would be brought back to life again after another apparent death. Hardy said that she had a vague recollection of how cold it was in the mortuary's fridge, but couldn't recall anything else from those moments when she lost consciousness. She also stated that she was extremely happy to be alive and was thankful for those 2 miracles. Li Xiaofei. A 95-year-old Chinese woman by the name of Li Xiaofei suffered what was thought as a fatal head injury and was pronounced artificially dead by doctors. She was later placed in an open casket in her home for all of her friends and family to pay their respects. But miraculously, just 1 day before her funeral, she would wake. Now, you would expect someone who came back from the dead to be shocked and not understand what's happening. But Miss Xiaofei climbed out of her unsealed coffin after spending 6 days there. She was later seen by villagers who were looking for her body, sitting on a stool in her kitchen cooking. One of them said that they were terrified and asked for help from the other neighbors. The old lady told the press that she pushed the lid off for a very, very long time in order to climb out, and then felt really hungry, so she decided to cook a meal for herself. Unfortunately, the same Chinese tradition that saved her life also left her with nothing, as according to the ritual, all the dead's possessions must be burnt. Milagros Bear Run. You may think that this list only includes adults who have come back from the dead, but the following story proves otherwise. This incident took place in a hospital in northeast Argentina when Luz Milagros Bear Run was born 3 months premature and was in critical condition. Unfortunately, just 20 minutes after her birth, doctors declared her stillborn. Her mother, Analia, was given her death certificate before her birth certificate. The baby was then placed in a coffin inside of the hospital's morgue, where she spent the next 12 hours refrigerated. Fabian, the father, said his wife insisted on saying farewell to their daughter, so they went to see her for one last time. They opened the coffin and were shocked when they heard muffled cries from under the covers. His wife's need to say farewell had led them to their best discovery ever. Their baby was actually alive. The little Luz was taken to a neonatal care where she remained in stable condition. The couple spoke of this as a miracle of God and said it was the reason why they chose to name her Luz Milagros, which when translated means light and miracle. So after hearing about these definitions and these different scenarios, what do you think that these people are classified as? Do you think that they are zombies? Do you believe that some sort of miracle happened and brought them back to life? Or for those which it applied, do you believe that their deaths were misdiagnosed? Please let us know. As always, thank you for watching. And if you liked the video, please like the video. And don't forget to subscribe and comment. Thank you for watching the Millennial Countdown.